So remember with me, if you will, Mike Lindell's claim that August 13th was the day. Here's a moment, him briefly speaking to some ding-dong reporter, journalist, just a right-wing conspiracy channel, about waking up that morning of August 13th.
By the time the morning of August 13th, it'll be the talk of the world going, hurry up, let's get this election pulled down, let's right the right, let's get these communists out, that had taken over, and you'll see, when I say that, and they'll say, well, what's going to happen to all the people that were involved? I don't know. Right now, the biggest concern is getting this election pulled down. Donald Trump won. I mean, it's pretty simple. Okay, and there were many down-ticket senators, too, that they did, too, and stuff. You'll find all that out.
This appears to me to be, listen, I've said it before. When I was subbing for David Pakman, I said it, and I think I've said it here before, too, that I don't malign Mike Lindell for his prior drug use, for his being an addict. That is a disease. There is little he could have done about that. I'm not going to say anything that he is back on the pipe or any of those rude and unwarranted, unhelpful comments. But this does seem to me to be a man who is in cognitive crisis, emotional crisis. I would advise, and I'm not being snarky, I'm being absolutely serious, seek help, Mike Lindell. These are fever dream conspiracy theories, delusions that normal people don't have. August 3rd was going to be the talk of the world, he said there. I woke up on August 13th to crickets. That's what I woke up to. So this weekend, he spoke at the Trump rally. Here is a moment prior to the rally talking to one of the reporters from Right Side Broadcasting Network. And listen to this very brief clip.
A 2022 or a 2024.
People want change now. We can't wait to 2024 for things to reverse. This country is going down a road right now that has to be reversed now.
Yeah, it has to happen now. It's Trump 2021. 100% Trump 2021. And it's this election, when it does get pulled down, there were so many other down tickets affected. Maybe the Supreme Court and that, they just do a whole new election, which is fine. But remember, everybody, we have to melt down the machines and make prison bars out of them. That's a fact. I was talking to the Alabama Secretary of State, and he said, well, it didn't happen.
Couple things. One, I don't believe that Mike Lindell actually knows what 100% means. Two, the reporter's declaration that we can't wait until 2024. Unfortunately, sir, we have something called the Constitution, and that is the framework in which we work. Within the framework, the rules, rule of law. Remember, law and order, all of that. Conservative principles that are talked about constantly, not followed, lip service. And then Mike Lindell talking about 2021, which is it's moving the goalposts from election day to the insurrection to inauguration. All of these dates that are getting moved, pressed further and further out. And here we are now, just by the end of the year, we're going to see it. By the end of 2021, by some magic, because it's not constitutional, Donald Trump will be reimagined as president of the United States. Here's a few moments from the speech. This was what you just watched was prior to the speech. Here's moments from the actual speech. Bananas.
Now I want to say something. When you steal an election, you don't just steal an election and we're going to sit here and go, okay, let's wait for 2020 or let's wait for 2024. I'll tell you what, it's Trump 2021. That's what it is, 2021. If we don't solve 2020, there is no 2022 and 2024. But I will tell you this, everybody, on a horizontal track, don't worry, we're going to keep fighting to get this to the Supreme Court, get everything taken care of. But in the meantime, you got to go out there and you got to get these great candidates here in Alabama and get people that are for the people. That's what we need in our country. Politicians that are picked for the people, that serve the people. I mean, what this is exposed, and I've watched it. When I started, I wasn't into politics. I was an ex-addict. I didn't know a thing about politics. Well, I was kind of thrown into it, and because I met a man, and I backed one of the greatest men I've ever met. But what I've noticed in politics, so many of them have a political agenda or a personal agenda. And I think we've seen that even in the Republican Party. I won't name no names. Oh, I will. Doug Ducey, Brian Kemp, Brad Rassenberger. It's shameful what they have done. The stuff that you've seen, but just remember, God's had his hand in all of this, everybody. God has had his hand in all of this. If this would have been happened way back in November and the election taken down, we would have never found out all these horrible, terrible things that happened to our country and the evil behind it. So all of this stuff is getting revealed, and I'm telling you, we're going to get through. This is the greatest time in history to be alive, because I'll tell you what, when we get way out here and they pull this election down and all this stuff, and we get out to a place that's glorious, you're going to look back and you're going to say, every single thing that had to happen just the way God intended it. And we will once again be one nation under God.
Two sets of things I want to talk about. One, obviously Donald Trump is not coming back this year or next year or the year after. The earliest Donald Trump could come back on the scene as president of the United States would be January 20th, 2025. The earliest. There's no mechanism by which he could be reinserted as president of the United States. There's not. There's no redo the election. There's not, we're going to have a redo of November 3rd just with paper ballots, which is what he's calling for, and then we'll see what the American people say. That's not a thing. The other thing is, if this is all in God's hands anyway, then what is the problem? Why the need for your cyber symposiums? If God has this under control, Mike Lindell, it's an earnest question. Why? Maybe you don't really believe that. Maybe you need to interfere in an election that was free and fair, because it's not really controlled by the guy you think's controlling it.